fellas, today we got a lot of stuff to go over, and it includes this. This is the Sparrows, and I'm not really sure what the real name is, because on the website, when I went to buy it, they call it the Flash Snap Gun, and then they also call it the Double Tap Snap Gun. A lot of you guys have asked about this, want to take a look, and we're going to do that. But before we do it, let's take a look at some administrative tasks that just really need to be taken care of. First of all, last month we gave away these. These are Learn Lock Picking's Ultimate Adversary. And I basically just announced the winner, and in this case we can see it's MT Noob. And the other one is Ian Watson. And then everybody asked what was inside the black box. So I thought it might be important to show you rather than just assume everybody knows what these are. These are great training locks. They're made, as I said, by LearnLockPicking.com. They have 7 chambers, all threaded. It's on the Schlage keyway, so you got a little bit of restriction to deal with. So good for beginners, not too restrictive. It does come with a 5-pin key to get started and a pinning kit to pin up that 5-pin key. And they're all standard pins. You got the plugs and springs, everything inside of there. And they also throw in this bag. Now this is a lot bigger. It's greatly improved over the kit that I bought. There's like twice the number of pins and springs. But if you look in there, you can see you got the wrench for those little cap screws, and then you got spools and serrateds, and I think I saw a mushroom in there, and just a whole bunch of replacement stuff to continually challenge yourself. By the way, I get nothing from this. They are not my sponsor. I don't get any kickbacks. You deal directly with them if you want to buy it. But when I see a good product, I just think it's important that they get the recognition. These were donated. I have 2 of them that were donated by American Key Supply. They're just miniature pinning mats. And since I got 2 winners for the fan appreciation giveaway, I'm going to go ahead and give away one to Ian and one to MT Noob. You guys will get an email from me. Just reply with your real name and mailing address. I'll be happy to mail that to you guys. This is the big giveaway, the biggest one we've ever done. This was for video number 1000 last Saturday. So it's been a long time coming, and I figured a special gift was in store, a special giveaway. This started life as a Peterson G3 kit. I added a lot of stuff to it, as you can see, and it's all government steel. All in all, and I'm guessing, I think there's probably about $300 here, but as I said, it's a special event. 1,000 videos. Parker Bomar. Dude, you probably should go out and buy a lottery ticket today, because there were like 4,000 entries on this, and you lucky devil. You're going to get this. Again, I'll send you an email, reply to it with your real name and mailing address. Get that out to you. Thanks, guys, for supporting me and all the entries. All right, let's talk about the Sparrows. Again, is this called the Flash or Double Tap? I really don't know, but it comes in a really nice case. It's a hard case, very durable. It's got a nice zipper, really super case. When you flip it open, this, and it's going to be hard, you really can't see it, but I'm telling you, this is a very dense foam material, and it's about 1/4 of an inch thick to hold everything in place. And when you look at the top of this, there's a chunk of foam, softer foam there, so that when you fold it, it holds all the stuff here, which we're going to go over, holds it in place. So when you zip this bad boy closed, and you throw this in your truck or in your bag, and it's vibrating around, shaking, you're dropping it, and then when you open it back up, all those little pieces are still in place. Very well thought out, very nice kit. And then the gun itself, we'll take a closer look, but it's actually press fitted down into this little recessed area, so it also is not going to be flopping around. All right, what do you get? Well, get a whole bunch of stuff here. It's one of the largest selections of tension wrenches I've seen with one of these snap guns before. You have, all of them are L-shape or Z-shape, double-ended, single-ended, some with a twist, some without a twist. You got all the 3 different widths for all kinds of different keyways to pick. You also get an assortment of tips. Now this is interesting because when they sell this separately, this is $9.95. But they give you a lot of options here. If I can get them all sorted. You get this one with the angle. I've never really used that one very much. And then you get basically 3 different lengths of the straight, the most popular one. I would imagine this longest one would be useful in recessed locks or maybe car door locks perhaps. Medium one, same thing. And then the most popular one, to me the most useful, even in 7-pin locks, is, I'm going to call it the short, but it's really not that short. I like this one best, and I've used it on almost every type of lock. So I'm going to go ahead and install that on this pick gun. Let's take a look at it now. It is typical of most of them. It's, I'm going to say molded like sheet metal, but it's very sturdy. It's heavier than pretty much any of them. There's no aluminum in this thing, I can tell you that, given the weight. Unlike some of the others, you'll notice this one has screws. That's good and that's bad in my view. It's good because if something inside breaks, like the spring that controls the mechanism, you can remove the screws, replace the spring, and put it back together. You can't do that in any of the others that I've seen. They all have rivets and they're permanently sealed. This one gives you the option of doing some repairs. It's gold colored, kind of like a pimp gun, but that's purely aesthetic and personal choice, I guess. So what I would do on these screws, what I did is after you use this for a while, they'll start to back out a little bit. So I just pulled them all out, put a drop of Loctite, put them back in, and have not had any trouble since then. You got the tension controller here. This rotates about 10 complete rotations. If you look closely up here, you can see a L for low and a H for high. I turn it all the way up to the low and then back it just one rotation. So there's 9 more adjustment rotations. And what that will do is it'll control how much this needle moves up and down. So I found that with just one turn, it's enough to handle most of the locks that we're going to be dealing with here in a few minutes. So let me put the needle in so you can see how this thing works. This is the other nice feature. It slides right in there. It's compressed on both sides instead of just one. And we don't have to find a screwdriver or a little wrench because this knob, finger tight, is all you need to do, and it holds it pretty firmly. And during the course of picking, you just reach up and check to make sure it's not loosening up. So pretty cool. Let's take a look at the action now. I believe the real name for this is probably double tap. Now notice that this needle, when I start to compress it, moves perfectly straight up and down. So when I release it, goes straight. It doesn't pivot like some of those cheap guns that you find on eBay and on Amazon. They flip like that. They rotate. So they don't hit all the pins at the same time. This one moves perfectly up and down and strikes all the pins at the same time. It makes it a lot easier to align it. The other big difference about this one is when you pull the trigger all the way back, you get two tries. So it's like a machine gun when you're trying to pick a lock. Very cool. It reduces the fatigue on your hand quite a bit if you get into a long picking session or a long snapping session. And as you'll see on some locks, you have to do that. It just makes your job a little bit easier to have it perfectly aligned, and you get 2 pops for every click. By the way, I forgot to mention this, I paid $59 Canadian, and that works out to today's exchange rate $45 US. So it is very competitively priced, even compared to some of the snap guns that are on eBay and Amazon. Let's use it. Let's see if it's worth the money. So let me go. I got a big assortment of locks over here with a lot of interesting biddings. Let's go through these one at a time and see how well this thing works. Oh, got it. Guys, what you just saw was pure 100% Hollywood. That is a very rare occurrence, and in fact, that was about my 84th try to get that on the first attempt. Let's talk about how these tools can be used within their limitations. Now, this is a 5-pin lock. I'm going to go ahead and relock it. This is the bidding. So you see it's pretty good bidding on this thing. So to get it on the first snap like you just saw, it's not going to happen. Getting it on the 75th is probably a lot more likely. All right, how do we use the tool? Well, the first thing I want to point out is these tension wrenches do vibrate out. So unlike when picking, you want to use the longer end. And I just stick it in there, and I found that it kind of hangs in there a little bit better. As I said, 5-pin lock. There are no security pins in most of the locks I'm getting ready to show you. I'm going to use the standard needle. So before I begin, I want to make sure everything's tight. It is. Slide it in and try to keep it perfectly parallel to the pins. And you get it right under them. I'm going to rest this right on the warding. I'm going to push it all the way in and then pull it back out a little bit. Apply light tension so the pins can still bounce up and down. And then I'm just going to begin pulling the trigger. I'm going to give it a chance to work, and if it doesn't open after about 10 tries, it's probably not going to. Probably means you overset something. Go ahead and lighten up, recock it, and give it another try. Oh my God, we got it on the first try again. Very rare to make that happen, but again, this is a good situation. I've only got 5 pins and no security pins. All right, let me go ahead and take this guy out, and let's take a look at some different biddings to see how well this tool really does work in the real world. Guys, let's see how this gun does when we have bidding that's kind of extreme. Now, true, these 4 pins are probably the lowest possible cut, but if you look closely, they are protected by the very highest cut right in the front where that needle is going to be striking everything. So again, there are no security pins in this lock. They're all standards. So what we're going to do, pretend like we don't know the bidding. We're going to slide it in, keep it level, apply light tension, and give it about 10 clicks. And my bet is that we're going to overset the guys in the back. So we got no luck. So reset. This time, let's pretend that we believe that the high cuts are in the back. Again, we're going to tilt our needle with the tip up higher in the back. Not nearly that. That's greatly exaggerated, but just a little bit to kind of strike those guys first. And I got no love out of that either. Now, hopefully, it'll work. With the high cut in the front, we're going to tilt it so that the needle in the back is down. Very slightly, tilt, light tension, and give it 10 clicks. And because the camera's going, it's not going to work. Okay, recock. And here is the technique I use when I really don't have any clue what the bidding is. And hopefully this will give us a little bit of luck here. I slide the needle in, and then I, like with our Bogota, as I'm pulling the trigger, I'm rotating it back and forth to strike all the pins kind of randomly in different positions. And also no luck. And finally, oh my God. Okay, so you guys can see, when we have a wide variation in bidding, this opening a lock with this tool can be quite challenging. Not quite Hollywood, is it? All right, let's go ahead and grab another lock and check a different bidding. All right, guys, let's take a look at a pretty common lock. This is obviously a master lock, but only a 4-pinner. But look at the bidding on this one. So chances are we're going to overset that one in the back. There's no mods to this lock. It's sealed container. It works beautifully. But let's see if we can snap our way into this thing. Bottom of the keyway. This is the wide tension wrench, so I did change tension wrenches. And I'm going to set it up a little bit to clear that rivet when it starts to turn. That's all. All right, slide this dude in and pretend I don't know the bidding. I'm going to slide it in level and all the way in, and then back it out a little bit to avoid the actuator, and then start snapping. And I didn't think we would get it that quickly, but we did. So even on a simple master lock with no security pins and really not a lot of spring tension on the core, it took a good number of snaps. And quite honestly, when I tried this earlier, it took about 3 tries. That I can repeat that, but anyway, you've heard enough of that clicking. Let's take a look at another lock, a little bit more challenging. This is a Brinks Discus. It's a little bit hard to hold. It's only 4 pins, but take a look at the bidding on this. This lock really has some stuff going for it to fight against a snap gun. We got some pretty extreme high-low, which is exactly what we want to defeat a snap gun. We also have 2 spool pins, 2 security pins in this guy, so that's a plus. They're hard to snap. And the third thing is we have spring tension on this core, so it's really hard to tension this while you're snapping it. If you over-tension it, you're going to bind the pins. So I'm probably going to go to fast forward here, because this is quite an effort to get into this lock. I'm getting a lot of false sets as we set those spools, but I'm not getting any open. Let's keep at it. And we got an open. Only 4 pins, only 2 security pins, but you can see what a difference security pins, spring tension on the core make, and then also that high-low bidding. So if you want to defeat this tool, that's a tip. Get yourself some spring-loaded cores, throw in some security pins, and cut them high, low, and it's really going to reduce the chance that a snap tool like this will work. Those are the limitations. This is a great tool to get into a lock for law enforcement with no lockpicking experience, for EMTs, for firefighters that don't have the time to learn lockpicking skills but still want a fairly fast way to get into probably 70% of the North American homes that use these pretty simple locks with no security pins. This tool will work. If you're going after challenge locks that people have put a lot of nastiness in, threaded chambers and such, probably not going to have too much luck with this tool. Anyway, great tool, does work for what it's designed to do, and it does a good job. The double taps really speed things up, in my opinion, and I really like the fact that I can do maintenance on this thing and if I have to at some point. This also is a very nice little thing to be able to check the tension of your needle occasionally. Anyway, fellas, there you go. The Sparrows Double Tap or Flash Snap Gun. I don't know what they're calling it this week, but if you'd like to win this thing, you know what to do. I'm going to give this away. Go to the website, register to win it next week, and I will pick a lucky winner next Saturday. We'll get back on schedule. Thanks, fellas. Stay safe. Stay legal.